Hey, Bry Guys here with another Pixels Refreshed. Today we're going to be looking at something that was requested by a bunch of people. So I thought, hey, we're out of date. I didn't start the channel until after this video was revealed anyways, but why don't we give a look-see at the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo where they showed it off for the first time and talk about the tech being used and whatnot. So anyways, I got Graham here with me again for the Unreal behind the scenes input, and let's get to it.
Immediately pause.
Pause. What? What am I pausing for?
The hair on this character. It's very, very pretty.
It
It's super
is.
detailed.
It is. I mean, it's because it's so densely packed. It's hard to know. Man, that freaking gel. Nanite is nuts. Like this is where they were showing off nanite for the first time, and it's the perfect place to do this. Is you have these like stalactites and stalagmites. And like just literal calcium deposits coming off the wall, like absolutely insane.
Not gonna lie, like I would literally just pay to like just play this demo. Like honestly, it's just a magical feeling once you first. It gives me nostalgia of like a year or two ago, when I just first saw this demo.
Yeah.
And how like I got shivers. That's all. I don't know. I just pay to play this demo.
The collision on the rocks falling down that is insane. Like how present it all feels.
Which would typically only be used in film. There are around 1 million triangles each.
See some things with the shadows and the little grass, but that's really the only thing I can nitpick. It's so good.
Nanite can render an insane number of triangles very quickly. There are over 1 billion triangles of source geometry in each frame.
Underline the word source, because it's not rendering 1 billion triangles on the scene right
now.
What does that many triangles look like? This isn't noise. These are the triangles, each a different color. Most are so small that they look like noise.
See, this is the kind of the thing. This is the thing that everyone's trying to figure out right now, which is basically a polygon per pixel and how to do it. Because we're already wasting a ton of hardware, and we're wasting hardware because like a 4K TV is what, 8 million pixels? What is that? 3840 by 2160? What's a calculator? I'll do it. I think it's 8 million. 3840 times 2160. Yeah, 8.2 million pixels. So really, most of the time we're rendering more than 8 million polygons in a scene anyways. So if you think about it, we could do a polygon per pixel if we could manage the data. And this is like literally reconstructing the scene on the fly. And this is probably the closest attempt we've seen so far. It's not that, because you can see some of this, right? Like that's a lot of, that's like one poly.
Some of these like handcrafted assets might not have as much detail as like scans.
Yeah, and I mean that's fine to some extent, but it's like this wasn't possible before, and this is the probably the most exciting thing about this generation, and something we're not going to see for 2 years is the CPU boost. Because no one could have even tried this on on Xbox One or PS4 because the CPUs were so weak. But now that these have high-end Ryzen cores in there, there's so much that they can do with this. And the developers, the engine developers, which is something I always talk about, can target it as a standard. And when they can target it as a standard, they can start trying to pull crazy tech like this off.
To be pixel accurate as well, and Nanite can do that too. Speaking of lighting, all of the lighting in this demo is completely dynamic, with the power of Lumen that even includes multi-bounce global illumination.
I wonder how many bounces. Have you played with setting a specific number of bounces?
All of that
the way it works actually, there's no actual bounces going on really. Basically, it's using distance fields from all these meshes and simulating light bounces that way. So there's no actual like rays being traced.
Gotcha.
So there's no samples that need to go on.
There's probably a limited range then on the on the distance fields.
Yeah.
Like actual caves that we.
That's why you have issues with reflections a lot of the time, since it can't do super long range reflections like ray tracing would. But for global illumination, and it looks stunning.
Like looking at this like geometry layer on the top of this, and it's just nuts that what the character's interacting with there.
Sound field rendering allows us to record and play back spatialized
like even the audio is just, it's so good.
Man, I can't wait till I'm waiting for a Tempest to be fully taken advantage of on PS5. I have a crazy surround sound system. You could probably see in the background that I have speakers the size of me. But it's like I'm always looking for the best audio experiences, so I'm excited. The IK, like
Yeah, like that's so good.
the way that the character's actually interacting with it, it's like it's a little floaty with that hand there, but it depends. It's like 90% of the time it looks like it's perfectly interacting, and then there'll be like one placement that's slightly off.
This swarm of bats was created with our Niagara effects system.
I love how like they're like flipping over and stuff to try to avoid each other. There's some like collision calculations there that are really interesting.
And understand their environment like never before.
Those rocks, frick.
Yeah.
Watching them fall down like that is nuts.
We've also added a ton of new functionality to run fluid
This is the one thing that I'm not 100% sold on. It's just the water here.
Man.
I don't know. There's some weird artifact thing going on with
Yeah, it's a little delayed on it.
Yeah.
The textures and stuff look great here.
Yeah.
Eh.
The demo runs on our chaos physics.
This is like super unrelated to the actual demo in any way, but the music, I just like the music in this.
It's very,
really
it's
nice.
ambient and atmospheric. It's good.
Yeah, the music's nice.
Yeah. Oh, dang.
Like cellos.
Yeah. Man. This is, I mean, this scene's pretty finely tuned, but it feels like the geometric detail is pretty even everywhere.
Yep. Again, most of these are actually just mega scans, so
Yeah.
you're not
Quixel
gonna
mega scan.
have very much
Well,
variation.
even with Quixel mega scans, typically it's like you're mashing different mega scans together, right? So it's like one might be higher res than like a higher. You might be scaling something not to the same scale as another asset, right? And then you get some mismatches.
Again, like if each like asset's already like 10 million polygons.
Shh, Graham. So man, I think this is the first thing where it's like the first time you see this, it's just nuts because you're like
that bounce lighting is so pretty.
Light is the way to adjust, but that's super nice. But also just having this many meshes of that density. Like I remember playing Uncharted 2 and walking into, they had one room with one like statue that they put so much work into, and it was like one standalone thing. The big difference with this is obviously like just walking into a sea of them, and you're like, what the heck? How do you?
Yeah.
You can even see the Niagara.
So if you like, imagine, I don't know if you played Plague's Tale at all, but this seems like a pretty pretty big step up from a similar from their rat tech.
I'm pretty sure Plague Tale uses like a modified version of Unreal Engine anyway.
No, they made their own. That was their own
Oh,
engine.
they did?
Yeah, it was their own
wow.
engine. It's even more.
Yeah. Oh.
I love how when that broke open, it actually like the light comes through. So.
And is more than 33 million triangles.
Come on, 33 million triangles.
That's nothing. Where's
that's
the
nothing.
1 billion triangles? ZBrush can't even handle that.
Yeah, I know. So once again, 33 million triangles, 8 million pixels in your TV. You know,
just,
it's
like, unnecessary.
But this is the thing: is you end up with this is the problem of games. You have some assets that don't have enough detail way too close to the screen, and other ones too far away.
At the same detail level placed in this room for a total of over 16
See, it's like
triangles from
what this is. It's kind of funny because the real next gen thing here is killing LODs.
Yeah.
That's the most next gen thing about all of this is just the fact that they can have everything the way that they want it to look all the time and not have to fixate on LODs nonstop.
Like the volumetric lighting going on right there, and like the lens effects are also very well authored. Yeah.
I think the character might. This is the opposite of what I was saying in some other games, but I feel like the character is maybe a little over stylized. I think that they adjusted it in the most recent video, and I think they went too far the other way now. Because people complained about the character being too stylized in this, and then they went too far the other way. Now the character looks a little bit weirder in the most recent demo that I saw.
I'm pretty sure it's the same character.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they shrunk her size of her eyes, and they did a couple of things.
Oh, maybe. Then yeah.
Oh. Man, the way that light fills the screen is so nice.
Yep.
This is the big trick of this demo, right? Because they show you this stuff, and then they're walking you through it so slowly that you're like, oh, this is awesome, but what will it look like in specific game settings? And then they just have her friggin' sprint through the rest of it at Mach speed, just to show you how
Yeah,
fast they can load it.
they're showing off now. They're not even being like humble.
Well, no,
about it.
this is a well-paced trailer because they take you through
Yeah.
it, and then they show you things where you can pay attention to it, and then they like literally just burst through it at Mach speed so that you see how flexible that it is. This is
I just want
nuts.
to play like an open world game like this so badly.
Yeah, World of Warcraft doesn't look like this to you?
Nah, I wish. I don't know, the way they're able to stream and all this polygonal data like on the fly is ridiculous.
Well, it's kind of funny because if you look at like an engine that's doing this currently, like with Flight Simulator, there's real, and that tech's amazing. I'm not bashing it by any means, but you can see the limitations in it because it's like literally creating the world on the fly. And when it's doing that, there is stuttering and kind of like weird parts where it's rebuilding. It's like just taking that amount of data, but that's not local data, and this is the problem with it. That's online data, so it's building it from online data. So that's whereas this is all local data, so you can build it much more quickly.
Like the last part. Oh, like the particle physics here is so good.
That's
so well
gorgeous.
done.
The way it's wrapping, like
Yeah.
so you have the main turn, and then you have this as it comes off, it's turning the other way, which is really nice.
Okay, Unreal, Epic, please just like let us play that demo. Like I'd be so happy. Please do that. Just post it somewhere. I want to
Yeah,
play it.
this is I like. Okay, I mean, Graham knows why my camera's gone all fuzzy. Let me get this reset for a second. Come on, there we go. Graham knows I wasn't a huge fan of Unreal 4, so Unreal 5 has me really impressed, and this is saying a lot because I just felt like Unreal 4 was a little too dependent on proprietary technology and it didn't run well for how good it looked. That was my biggest beef with Unreal 4 is that you would get like you'd play Ace Combat, I think it was 7 that was done in Unreal 4, and then you play RE like Resident Evil 2 remake, and Resident Evil 2 remake looked 3 times better and ran at like triple the performance. So it's like you didn't feel like you were getting any game in Unreal 4. I didn't really feel like you were getting the performance for what reflected what it looked like visually, although it did have some visually impressive games. But Unreal 5 has completely inverted that for me. It looks like you're getting the visual returns that I'd hoped for. The same way that I felt with Unreal 3, because the original Unreal 3 demos made me feel that way. And then Unreal 4, I was like, yeah, it's useful, it's easy, but I'm sure a lot of great games will come out of it, but the tech itself wasn't that impressive to me, but Unreal 5 is very impressive to me.
Like this demo specifically, it's absolutely flawless. Like there's basically nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and I'm sure when we see actual shipping games, we're going to see where they have to compromise or whatnot. Or, well, there might be a couple of games that figure out how not to compromise, just how to optimize in a way that they get the most of it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot I could say about this demo. I mean, it's just showing you that all the systems are there. I think it's masterfully done from the perspective of like having such an even level of detail, letting you kind of display it slowly and then bursting through it. I think that was genius because it shows you how flexible their engine is for different types of games. Because when you look at what this engine will be used for, we're gonna have racing games in it. We're gonna have shooters. You're gonna have everything built in this engine. So it needs to prove that flexibility. Yeah. Now, do you have anything else you want to add on this one, or?
I don't think so. Just have another comment. I honestly, it's gonna be very exciting in the next couple of years, seeing how other major studios come up with their tech competitors to Unreal 5 at least. Because as of right now, nothing really comes close.
Well, we're not even seeing the updated versions of the engines. No. I'm very curious because I've heard comments like this from Sony Santa Monica about the new God of War, but I really don't know what that's actually going to look like because we haven't seen anything other than the logo. It could be possible that it comes close, especially because or it could exceed it in specific ways. If I was to imagine any specific places that it could exceed it, it would probably be the characters and the animation. And then but like, I mean, it's pretty good here too. So it's like, I don't really know. The main thing that you could do is get a more stylized look in a way. I don't know what
Mhm.
really we could change to. I mean, all of these engines are going towards PBR, and the percentage that they look different is starting to go down, right? It's like
Yeah.
they're looking more and more the same the more that the what they're trying to achieve aligns, and how much they're just trying to achieve lighting and like accurate lighting and materials. But I don't know. Like I don't know what the competition's going to be. The big problem is like, can other engines compete? This is getting to be the question, right? It's like there's no point in making your own engine anymore for the most part. The vast majority of developers.
If you can't develop something like this, there's not really a point.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
like, when the
that's just
tools are
some
already available.
proprietary tech that your game needs to have.
Yeah, but even
Um,
still, you could
but
probably build that proprietary tech into
yeah,
Unreal and save yourself so much time.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else they could offer. I mean, even Nintendo's done some of their games in Unreal. So, it's going to be hard to compete with, and especially with like all the libraries and stuff that they have available. And to be honest, I think that the weirder thing is that it's owned by Epic. That might
Yeah.
sound weird, but it's like I kind of wanted the blender of game engines, and that's a strange thing to say, but just a game engine that was constantly getting better by being so open. And instead, it's the opposite. We're getting a very closed engine getting better and better exponentially in a way that other engines can't keep up.
Yep.
So,
You
uh,
also talking earlier about how like stylized games work in Unreal, because I believe I heard like rumors that Fortnite was moving over soon, and I heard like a leak somewhere saying they're having as happening like the next season or something, so like early September.
yeah,
So probably see some stylized uh graphics like at this detail level soon. So
man.
wondering how that will turn out.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you need it's kind of a weird thing to even
Yeah.
say, right? It's like sometimes it's like, but I mean, I'm curious with using nanite if you could deconstruct things simpler. You could put
Mm-hmm.
crazy assets in and intentionally low poly them, or it's like there might be.
And I know Nanite itself is basically just a no-brainer to use since it manages all of your LODs automatically.
Yeah,
So if you already have like like stylized assets that are like lower poly, you can just turn Nanite on, just save performance that way without having to manage LODs. So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
phenomenal demo. I
Yep.
could not be more excited to actually touch a game shipping in this tech.
Oh yeah.
That might be a little bit yet, but to
Yeah.
see what the differences are between, usually the way that I've seen it in the past with specifically with Unreal is that the earliest games don't match the original tech demos and the latest games do. So it's like the
Mhm.
last games on the system finally match the vision of the initial tech demos, and then the first games typically don't. I'm hoping for the inverse here. I'm hoping that devs are just much more able to. It's just like the nature of the tech itself and being able to jam together so many high polygon assets will hopefully make it at least not perceivably that way
It
right
just
away.
saves development time. So with these new features,
Yeah.
so you
So
might see some games of this quality sooner than you think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that was us reacting to the Unreal 5 revealed demo. So hope you liked the video. If you do, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.